Hello, hello! Pizza Pax here, and we're back with the second Final Fantasy Collector's Edition Commander deck. This one is themed around Final Fantasy VII, and it is Limit Break. Equip weapons, raise stats, past 7 power. Nice. I will say Final Fantasy VII is my second favorite Final Fantasy. It is my favorite of the mainline games. My favorite, of course, is Final Fantasy Tactics, because I am that kind of nerd. But let's see what we get in Limit Break. Alright, as with the others, we have a themed tech box. It has mana symbols, cloud, strife on it. It folds up into a nice semi-usable, if not terribly durable, box. And we have 8 tokens, or 8 counters rather. 3 tokens on the back. Deck. An insert. And the envelope of goodness, which includes a Collector's Booster sample pack. We will be opening all 20 of the Collector's Booster sample packs that we'll be getting in their own video. So that's 4 from each of the regular editions, and then 1 each from the Collector's editions. I do occasionally get the question, hey Pete, why do you open 4 of each Commander deck? Or in this instance, 5. Well, I got the 5 Surge Foil ones to actually keep as Commander decks. So, that is something I don't always do, but when you have a series like Final Fantasy, you get a nice little cloud poster. Actually, let's pull back up to see that a little better. This little cloud poster. And then a look at our commanders. So we've got Tifa, Martial Artist, and Cloud X Soldier. Cover of the commander rules, magic colors, why this deck is what it is, and playing the deck. Yeah, they're like, hey P, why do you buy 4 of those? Well, the primary formats I play are Legacy and Vintage. I don't really play Commander. I don't particularly care for the format. It's just not my cup of tea, but I do love Legacy. I love Vintage. I also enjoy Modern and Standard, and of course Pauper. You'll hear me talk about Pauper and Pre-Modern quite a bit on the channel. But Legacy and Vintage are my favorite formats to play. I don't get to play them super often, though. But the Commander decks are legal for Legacy and Vintage. So it just makes sense to me to have a playset of each of them. Just in case. Because, you know, things like Hull Breacher and Dockside Extortionist. Hull Breacher much more impactful than Dockside. Or Foxwalkers, things like that, are impactful on those formats. So I do them. Also, I like to collect. With that being said, let's get into our Surge Foil Limit Break deck. So we have Cloud X Soldier, 2 red, green, white for a 4/4 legendary creature, human soldier mercenary with haste. When Cloud enters, attach up to 1 target equipment you control to it. Whenever Cloud attacks, draw a card for each equipped attacking creature you control. Then, if Cloud has power 7 or greater, create 2 treasure tokens. That's actually pretty strong. Probably won't see Legacy play, but we'll definitely see Commander play. Let's zoom in a little bit. So, nice art too, and the Surge foiling is always great. Yeah, there we go. Focus a little better. Next up, we have Tifa. I used to get in so many arguments with my friends because they wanted to say Tifa. It's Tifa. Martial Artist. 1 red, green, white for 4/4 legendary human monk. The monk is a little questionable. With melee, whenever this creature attacks, it gets +1/+1 until end of turn for each opponent you attacked this combat. Oh, that's neat. And then whenever one or more creatures you control with power 7 or greater deal combat damage to a player, untap all creatures you control. If it's the first combat phase of your turn, there's an additional combat phase after this phase. That's pretty sweet. Even if just for the untap. Next up we have Sid, Free Flyer Pilot. 1 and a white for a 2/2 legendary human warrior pilot. Equipment and vehicle spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. Jump. During your turn, Sid has flying. And then 2, tap, return target equipment or vehicle card from your graveyard to your hand. I could definitely see some interesting plays with, discard effects to get things into your graveyard and then get additional value to get them back. Also, self-mill becomes an option with that. Cloud's Limit Break. 1 and a white for an instant with tiered. Choose 1 additional cost. Cross Slash for 0. Destroy target tapped creature. Blade Beam for 1. Destroy any number of target tapped creatures with different controllers. Or Omni Slash. 3 and a white. Destroy all tapped creatures. This could have been in Standard. It's a little sad that they didn't put this into Standard. Elena, Turk Recruit. 2 and a white for a 1/4 legendary human assassin. When Elena enters, return target non-assassin historic card from your graveyard to your hand. Artifacts, legendaries, and sagas are historic. Interesting. Whenever you cast a historic spell, put a +1/+1 counter on Elena. So, fun infinite combo here. Ashnod's Altar plus, I think it's Junk Diver and Mirror Retriever will give you an infinitely large Elena. Heidegger, Shinra Executive. 3 and a white for a 3/3 legendary human soldier. At the beginning of combat on your turn, target creature you control gets +X/+0 until end of turn, where X is the number of soldiers you control. At the beginning of your end step, create a number of 1/1 white soldier creature tokens equal to the number of opponents who control more creatures than you. That's pretty cool. A lot of soldier synergies out there. I could see him actually being a decent mono white commander on his own. And you could even play some neat stuff along the lines of Decree of Justice to make this a little better. Helitrooper. 1 and a white for a 1/2 human soldier with flying. Whenever this creature attacks, another target attacking creature gains flying until end of turn. Equip abilities you activate that target this creature costs 2 less to activate. That last ability is kind of cool. Definitely gives you some options for some suit up kind of builds. Soldier Military Program. 2 and a white for an enchantment. At the beginning of combat on your turn, choose 1. If you control a commander, you may choose both instead. Oh, okay. Create a 1/1 white soldier creature token, or put a +1/+1 counter on each of up to 2 soldiers you control. Neat. Nice flavorful build there. Next up, Ultimate Magic Holy. 2 and a white instant. Permanents you control gain indestructible until end of turn. If this spell was cast from exile, prevent all damage that would be dealt to you this turn. Foretell, 2 and a white. During your turn, you may pay 2 and exile this card from your hand face down. Cast it on a later turn for its Foretell cost. This is one of those cards that I could see actually breaking into Legacy. Avalanche of Sector 7. 2 and a red for a X3 legendary human rebel with Menace. Avalanche of Sector 7's power is equal to the number of artifacts your opponents control. Whenever an opponent activates an activated ability of an artifact they control, Avalanche of Sector 7 deals 1 damage to that player. Again, this could be a good sideboard card in Legacy. Oh, I muted instead of pausing. Also, if you hear any clicking around, I apologize ahead of time. I am fighting a sore throat and trying not to lose my voice, so you may hear a cough drop in my mouth. But Kate Sith, Fortune Teller, or Cat Sith, Fortune Teller. 3 and a red for a 3/3 legendary artifact creature Cat Moogle with lucky slots. At the beginning of combat, on your turn, scry 1, then exile the top card of your library. You may play that card this turn. When you exile a card this way, target creature you control gets +X/+0 until end of turn, where X is that card's mana value. This could flip over some really cool stuff. Sorry about that. But any kind of big artifact, well, I mean, any big card could really do some cool stuff. But still very strong. Except summon Kuhada? 5 and a red for a 7/5 trample haste saga, or enchantment creature saga Ox, rather, with 3 chapters. Chapter 1, Lightning. This creature deals 3 damage to each of up to 2 target creatures. 2, Ice. Up to 3 target creatures can't block this turn. And then Fire. Discard a card, then draw 2 cards. When you discard a card this way, this creature deals damage equal to that card's mana value to each opponent. So another interesting one where you want to play really big mana value cards. I could see possibly playing something like Portal to Phyrexia in this. Ultimate Magic Meteor. 5 and a red, sorcery. Ultimate Magic Meteor deals 7 damage to each creature if this creature was cast from, or if this spell was cast from exile. For each opponent, choose an artifact or land that player controls, destroy chosen permanent, and then foretell for 5 and a red. So there's some interesting foretell cards in this. It seems like foretelling is the right play for them, because it's the same cost if you foretell it, but it has a much better effect. Okay. Next up, Vincent, Vengeful Atoner. 2 and a red for a 3/3 legendary assassin with menace. Whenever one or more creatures you control deal combat damage to a player, put a +1/+1 counter on Vincent. And then Chaos. Whenever Vincent deals combat damage to an opponent, it deals that much damage to each other opponent if Vincent's power is 7 or greater. This could be an interesting commander on its own, but also a good target to throw additional stuff on. And it pairs well with Tifa. Yuffie Materia Hunter. Or Yuffie Materia Hunter. 2 and a red for a 3/3 legendary creature human ninja with ninjutsu, or ninjutsu. 1 and a red. So for 1 and a red, return an unblocked attacker you control to your hand. Put this card onto the battlefield from your hand tapped and attacking. When Yuffie enters, gain control of target non-creature artifact for as long as you control Yuffie. Then you may attach an equipment you control to Yuffie. So a nice way to steal your opponent's equipment, or steal other artifacts, especially bigger artifacts, and then equip them, which could be pretty cool. Bugenhagen, Wise Elder. 1 and a green for a 1/3 legendary human shaman with reach. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you control a creature with power 7 or greater, draw a card, and then tap, add 1 mana of any color. Very nice. Bugenhagen, of course, is the guy that helps Red 13, or takes care of Red 13 in the beginning, and then helps him figure out a bunch of stuff about his background, and points the team in the direction of figuring out the stuff with the life stream. Lifestream's Blessing. 4 green instant. Draw X cards, where X is the greatest power among creatures you controlled as you cast a spell. If this spell was cast from exile, you gain twice X life. It's pretty cool. Good one to foretell, especially if you don't have that second green pip. Professor Hojo. 1 and a green for 2/2 legendary human scientist. The first activated ability you activate during your turn that targets a creature you control costs 2 less to activate. So that includes equip. Whenever one or more creatures you control become the target of an activated ability, draw a card. This ability triggers only once each turn. So that's pretty sweet and can be a nice little draw engine if you have something like, I don't know, oh god, what's it called? Not Tireless Tribe. It's one of the Encore. Nomad's Encore. Summoning Materia. 2 and a green for an artifact equipment. You may look at the top card of your library at any time. As long as this equipment is attached to a creature, you may cast creature spells from the top of your library. Equipped creature has +2/+2, vigilance, and tap at a green. Equip 2. Plays pretty well over here, and is a good way to play off the top of your deck. Aerith, Last Ancient. 2 green-white for a 3/5 legendary human cleric druid. Which is a little weird. Light with lifelink and raise. At the beginning of your end step, if you gained life this turn, return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. If you gain 7 or more life this turn, return that card to the battlefield instead. So again, playing along with a lot of the discard mechanics, and is kind of a cool card. It's not that hard to gain 7 or more life in a turn. Barret, Avalanche Leader. 2 red-green for a 4/4 legendary human rebel with reach and avalanche. Whenever an equipment you control enters, create a 2/2 red rebel creature token. At the beginning of combat on your turn, attach up to 1 target equipment you control to target rebel you own, or to target rebel you control. Again, slinging around equipment, and can do some really cool stuff. Red 13, Proud Warrior. One red-green for a 3/3 legendary beast warrior with vigilance and trample. Other modified creatures you control have vigilance and trample. Equipment, auras you control, and counters are modifications. And Cosmo Memory, which, if I remember correctly, was the name of his ultimate limit break. When Red 13 enters, return target aura or equipment card from your graveyard to your hand. Again, more graveyard synergies, which we don't often see in Naya colors. Sephiroth, Final Hero, or Fallen Hero. Final Hero, Fallen Hero. 3 red-white for a 7/5 legendary human avatar soldier with Genova cells. Whenever Sephiroth attacks, you may put a cell counter on target creature until end of turn. Each modified creature you control has base power and toughness 7/5. That is bonkers. It is so easy to throw around counters that making all your stuff into 7/5s is not that hard with this. And then the reunion. 3, sacrifice a modified creature, return this card from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. So you can do that pretty much any time. That is crazy. So he keeps coming back too. Conformer Shuriken. 2 for a legendary artifact equipment. Equipped creature has, whenever this creature attacks, tap target creature defending player controls. If that creature has power greater than this creature, put a number of +1/+1 counters on this creature equal to the difference. Equip 2. Neat. A really neat mechanic. We'll have to see if that ends up being effective in anything. I could, again, see playing that in Legacy. Wrecking Ball Arm. 2 mana legendary equipment, legendary artifact equipment. Equipped creature has base power and toughness 7/7 and can't be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less. Equipped legendary creature 3, equip 7. I could see this being a bonus entry in Hammer Time. Pretty cool. Austere Command. 4 white for sorcery. Choose 2. Destroy all artifacts, destroy all enchantments, destroy all creatures with mana value 3 or less, or destroy all creatures with mana value 4 or greater. A nice build your own sweeper. Not quite as good as Farewell, but sometimes better, if you want to keep some of your own stuff around. Bastion Protector. 2 and a white for a 3/3 human soldier. Commander creatures you control have +2/+2 and have indestructible. Just all around a good bonus card to have for decks with white commanders. Bronze Guardian, 4 and a white for an X5 artifact creature golem with double strike and ward 2. Other artifacts you control have ward 2. That is very, very strong. This creature's power is equal to the number of artifacts you control. Okay, that's pretty sweet. I could see this being played in more limited quantities outside of Commander as kind of an extra way to protect your deck. Or to protect your artifacts, but we'll see how that goes. Also, just being able to duplicate that would be very strong. Clever Concealment. Oh, from one of the best scenes in the game. 2 white instant with Convoke, so you can use creatures to help cast a spell. Each creature you tap while casting it pays for a colorless or 1 mana of that creature's color. Any number of target non-land permanents you control phase out. That is amazing, and having that on a Convoke spell is huge. So this lets you skirt around board wipes and lets you play your own pretty well. Here's Steel Paladin. Hey, one of the core cards of Hammer Time. It's nice to see it get a reprint, but white for a 2/2 Human Knight. Whenever an equipment you control enters, you may draw a card, which is very powerful, and the more powerful part is Metalcraft. Equipment you control have equip 0 as long as you control 3 or more artifacts. It is not hard to get Metalcraft, and being able to equip for 0 is extremely powerful. Unfinished Business. 3 white sorcery. Return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Then return up to 2 target aura or equipment cards from your graveyard to the battlefield attached to that creature. That is huge. So you can return something, I don't know, with haste and like an Eldrazi Conscription, which you can play in this. That would be a great upgrade for this deck. Any of the big auras. Also, the equipment coming in on that is pretty strong as well, especially with all of the discard effects. Vanquish the Horde, great board wipe. 6 white for a sorcery. Costs 1 less to cast for each creature on the battlefield. Destroy all creatures. Very good one. Chaos Warp, classic commander card. 2 and a red, instant. The owner of target permanent shuffles it into their library, then reveals the top card of their library. If it's a permanent card, they put it on the battlefield. This was much better when you could shuffle people's commanders in, but still very strong. Good general removal. Hellkite Tyrant. 4 red for a 6/5 dragon with flying and trample. Whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, gain control of all artifacts that player controls. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you control 20 or more artifacts, you win the game. This is a reason to play Mycosynth Lattice. Mycosynth Lattice is also a reason to play Mycosynth Lattice, but this is an even bigger one, being able to steal all of the person's permanents. It's pretty huge. Professional Facebreaker. That's an interesting one. 2 and a red for a 2/3 human warrior with menace. Whenever 1 or more creatures you control deal combat damage to a player, create a treasure token. Sacrifice a treasure, exile the top card of your library. You may play that card this turn. Great card from New Capenna. Decimate. 2 red-green sorcery. Destroy target artifact, target creature, target enchantment, and target land. You must have legal choices for all of those targets. You can target the same thing for multiple things, like if it's an artifact land, you can choose that as both your artifact and land target, but there has to be an artifact to target, a creature to target, an enchantment to target, and a land to target to cast this. Armory Automaton. 3 mana, 2/2 artifact creature construct. Whenever this creature enters or attacks, you may attach any number of target equipment to it. This is not a card you want to play on turn 3. This is a card that you want to play on like turn 10 or 12. Or, later, basically later in the game when you've got a lot of equipment in play. Because this is a huge catch-up after a board wipe. Champion's Helm. 3 mana artifact equipment. Equipped creature gets +2/+2. And as long as equipped creature is legendary, it has hexproof. Equip 1. That's pretty cool. It's like an extra Swiftfoot boots for a little bit more. Conqueror's Flail. 2 mana artifact equipment. Equipped creature gets +1/+1 for each color among permanents you control. As long as this equipment is attached to a creature, your opponents can't cast spells during your turn. The second part there is the better reason to play this card. And then it has Equip 2. So being able to shut off players interacting on your turn is very strong. Darksteel Plate, 3 mana artifact equipment, indestructible, equipped creature has indestructible, Equip 2. It's a good way to protect your guys and pass around indestructible. Inspiring Statuary, 3 mana artifact. Non-artifact spells you cast have improvise. Your artifacts can help cast those spells. Each artifact you tap after you're done activating mana abilities pays for 1. So you're already playing out a bunch of equipment. Might as well make your spells cheaper. Sword of the Animist. Wow, that getting a reprint's pretty big. 2 mana legendary artifact equipment. Equipped creature gets +1/+1. Whenever equipped creature attacks, you may search your library for a basic land, put it on the battlefield, tap, then shuffle. Equip 2. Nice built-in ramp on your cards, and there's some cool stuff you can do with it. Battlefield Forge. It is the red-white paint land. Taps for colorless, taps for red-white, deals 1 damage to you. Bonder's Enclave. Ooh, that's a cool one. Haven't seen that in a while. Taps for colorless, and then 3 and tap, draw a card. Activate only if you control a creature with power 4 or greater. It's a nice late-game draw engine. And it's the Chocobo Ranch. Very nice. Brushland. It's the red-white pain land. Taps for colorless, not red-white, green-white. Taps for green or white and deals 1 damage to you. Canopy Vista. It's a forest plains that enters tapped unless you control 2 or more basics. Not a bad one, and it is fetchable. You will probably want to add fetch lands to this deck. Cinder Glade, same thing, but it's a mountain forest. Clifftop Retreat is the red-white buddy land. Enters tapped unless you control a mountain or plains. Taps for red or white. Exotic Orchard should probably be something better, but add 1 mana of any color that a land an opponent controls could produce. So generally this ends up tapping for a colorless. Unless your opponents have lands that share colors with yours. Firelit Thicket, it's one of the original filter lands. Taps for colorless, and then can convert a red or green into any combination of red or green. So red-red, red-green, or green-green. Fortified Village. When it enters, you may reveal a forest or plains from your hand, including duels, or this enters tapped. Taps for a green or white. You'll probably want to change some of these out. Fury Calm Snarl, same thing, but for red and white. And mountain or plains. Game Trail, same thing, but for green and red and mountain and forest. So that's the Golden Saucer. It's pretty cool. Mossfire Valley filters 1 mana of any color into red-green. So 1 tap, add red-green. Rebellion Crag, it's the buddy land for mountains and forests. Taps for red and green. Red or green, rather. Rugged Prairie, the red-white filter land. So taps for colorless, and then turns a red or a white into any combination of red or white. Scavenger Grounds. Ooh, that's a good one. Is a land desert. Taps for colorless, and then for 2 and sacrifice a desert. A lot of the time it's going to be itself to exile all graveyards. Nice graveyard, nice piece of graveyard removal on a land. Slayer's Stronghold. Taps for colorless, and then for red-white, tap, target creature gets +2/+0 and gains vigilance and haste until end of turn. This used to be one of the big cards for Amulet Titan. This is one of the ways it could win immediately. Spire of Industry, another one I haven't seen done in quite a while. And nice picture of Midgar there. One of the Mako reactors. Taps for colorless, and then tap, pay a life, add 1 mana of any color, activate only if you control an artifact. You may want to replace this with something like City of Brass or Mana Confluence, but this generally serves pretty well. Sungrass Prairie filters 1 mana of any color into green-white. Sunpetal Grove enters tapped unless you control a forest or plains. Taps for green-white. Sunscorched Divide. This is one of the new ones. Filters 1 mana of any color into red-white. Zac Fair, 1 mana, or for a white, you get a 0/1 legendary human soldier. Zac enters with a +1/+1 counter on it. 1, sacrifice Zac. Target creature you control gains indestructible until end of turn. Put Zac Fair's counters on that creature and attach an equipment that was attached to Zac Fair to that creature. So, nice way to pass around counters and or equipment at instant speed and give indestructible. Really cool new card. I would like to see this do more. Also, it's part of the mainline set, which a lot of this could have been. Barrett Wallace, also part of the mainline set. 3 in a red for a 4/4 legendary human rebel with reach. Whenever Barrett attacks, it deals damage equal to the number of equipped creatures you control to defending player. Going to be doing a lot of equipment anyway. Dispatch. Oh, that is so cool. And one of the iconic parts of the game, the motorcycle chase scene. For a white, it's an instant tap target creature. Or if you have Metalcraft, so if you control 3 or more artifacts, just exile that creature. So it's either a bad tempo card or it's one of the best pieces of removal ever printed. Secret Rendezvous. 1 white for a sorcery. You and target opponent each draw 3 cards. There are different variants of this with the different characters that you can choose. Furious Rise. 2 in a red enchantment at the beginning of your end step. If you control a creature with power 4 or greater, exile the top card of your library. You may play that card until you exile another card with this enchantment. It's like drawing an extra card. It's just good. Vandal Blast. Oh, one of the best pieces of artifact removal ever printed. For a red, it's a sorcery. Destroy target artifact you don't control, and then you can overload it for 4 in a red. So you may cast it for its overload cost. If you do, change target and its text to each. Keep in mind, that gets around things like Hexproof. And Shroud, oddly enough. Cultivate. Oh, that's a beautiful version of Cultivate. 2 in a green sorcery. Search your library for up to 2 basic lands. Reveal those, put one into the battlefield tapped and the other into your hand, then shuffle. Nice. Harmonize. Also, beautiful version of the card. 2 green sorcery. Draw 3 cards. Nature's Lore. Search your library for a forest card, put it on the battlefield, and then shuffle. Keep in mind it comes in untapped, unless it says it comes in tapped, and this can get duels. So, something to consider. Rampant Growth. 1 in a green sorcery. Search your library for a basic land, put it on the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. This is where we get the term ramp from. Behemoth Sledge. Oh, that is cool. 1 green-white for an artifact equipment. Equipped creature gets +2/+2 and has trample and lifelink equipped 2. This is the thing that, in some regards, dethroned Luxon and Warhammer as one of the better equipment. Luxon and Warhammer is still fantastic. You may even want to consider putting it in here. Arcane Signet. Now that's just a pretty version of it. 2 mana artifact. Taps for your commander's color identity. Colossus Hammer. That's just a hilarious version of Colossus Hammer. If I played Hammer Time, I would be swapping mine out for these. But 1 mana artifact equipment. Equipped creature gets +2/+2, or +10/+10. +10/+10 and loses flying. Equip 8. Unfortunately, not as good as it was in Modern, but still a deck. Explorer's Scope. 1 mana artifact equipment. Whenever a equipped creature attacks, look at the top card of your library. If it's a land card, you may put it onto the battlefield tapped. Equip 1. If you have any way of manipulating the top of your library, such as Sensei's Divining Top, this becomes much more powerful. Sensei's Divining Top would also be a very solid upgrade to this deck. Hero's Blade. 2 mana artifact equipment. Equipped creature gets +3/+2. Whenever a legendary creature you control enters, you may attach this equipment to it. Equip 4. Nice way to get a free equip. Hero's Heirloom. 2 mana artifact equipment. Equipped creature gets +2/+1. As long as equipped creature is legendary, it has trample and haste. Equip 2. Another great way to throw around you know, throw around trample and haste. Such as with lightning greaves. Speak of it. 2 mana artifact equipment. Equipped creature has haste and shroud. It can't be the target of spells or abilities. Keep in mind, if you're wanting to equip other things, you have to do that first, because it does give shroud. Equip 0. Very nice. Mask of Memory. Oh, neat art with Genova there. 2 mana artifact equipment. Whenever equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, you may draw 2 cards. If you do, discard a card. Helps with our graveyard synergies, and it's just a good way to draw cards. Good engine. Equip 1. Skull Clamp, one of the most powerful equipments ever printed, was banned in Standard. 1 mana artifact equipment. Equipped creature gets +1/-1, and whenever equipped creature dies, draw 2 cards. Equip 1. This, with Pure Steel Paladin and a way of making tokens, is massively powerful. Such as the guy that makes soldier tokens. You can just churn through your deck very quickly. Soul Ring, 1 mana artifact, taps for 2. We all know what it does at this point. It's a great card. Trailblazer's Boots, 2 mana artifact equipment. Equipped creature has non-basic land walk. It can't be blocked as long as its defending player controls a non-basic land, and equip 2. This in Commander basically makes this creature the equipped creature unblockable. Ash Barrens, doesn't get played enough. Taps for 1 and has basic land cycling 1, so you can pay 1 and discard it to search your library for a basic, reveal it and put it in your hand, then shuffle. Love this art. Evolving Wilds, tap and sack, search your library for a basic land, put it on the battlefield, tap, then shuffle. It's the worst fetch land. It is what it is. Jungle Shrine, enters tap, taps for red, green, or white. Path of Ancestry, enters tapped. Tap, add 1 mana of any color from your commander's color identity. When you cast a creature that shares a creature type with your commander, scry 1. It's not the best, but it could be worse. Radiant Grove, it is a forest plains that enters tapped. You'll probably want to upgrade this at some point to like a temple garden, but it is a good stopgap. Sacred Peaks, it is mountain plains that enters tapped. Same, probably want to upgrade that to a Sacred Foundry. Yep, Temple Garden, Sacred Foundry. Wooded Ridgeline, it's a mountain forest that enters tapped. Again, probably want to upgrade that to a Stomping Ground at some point. We have Command Tower. It taps your commander's color identity. It goes in basically every commander deck, except for monocolored decks. Then we have our basics. Ooh, we got fuller basics too. So we got 1, 2, 3 mountains. I love the Chocobo Forest. 1, 2, 3 forests. And then 1, 2, 3 plains. Very nice. Now we got some really cool tokens. I wish I could get some more of these tokens because I do play with soldiers quite a bit. So we have Soldier Rebel token. That's pretty sweet. A Soldier Rebel token. Looks like we have a whole boatload of Soldier Rebel tokens. Okay. Might be able to actually get a hold of some of these then. So this deck doesn't make a whole lot of tokens other than Soldiers and Rebels, apparently. Then we have a really cool Foretell marker. I like that. Has a treasure on the back. We have a treasure that has a Foretell marker on the back. I might snag one of these to put with my Pioneer deck. Because I actually foretell. That's one of the few decks I foretell with. And then we have a Turn Order and Popular Formats Reminder card. This, of course, being the iconic opening scene of, well, technically more the box art for Final Fantasy VII, but it is what it is. All right. Well, thank you for joining me on this adventure. As always, don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff in the algorithm. It really helps us out, and I really appreciate it. And until next time, stay awesome. We'll see you in the next one. Thanks. Bye.